Hello and welcome to the very first episode of the Basketball Reach podcast. On this podcast, I'm going to be talking about all things basketball. I'm going to keep you up to date with everything going on in the NBA today. You can expect trade talks and recaps from today's podcast, but we're doing much more in future podcasts. There's been a lot of trade talk circling around Rudy Gobert. The Timberwolves might want to give him up this offseason. Now, I saw that the Portland Trailblazers are involved, and I've got no idea what kind of deal they'd be looking for there. I'd probably have to involve Nurkic, I would imagine, which I think the Timberwolves would be quite happy to give up Rudy Gobert because, the Jazz won that trade big time. That's going to go down as probably one of the worst trades in NBA history, along with the Shai Gilgeous-Alexander trade. That guy has been going ridiculous. He's an all-star starter in the West, in my opinion, and he's definitely better than Paul George. They gave away picks and other quality role players. That trade is a terrible trade for the Clippers in retrospect. As I'm recording this podcast right now, the 76ers and the Sacramento Kings are still going on. It is 95-94. The Kings were up by 20 points. I started recording this because I got bored watching it, quite frankly, but they've come right back. I picked the Kings to win this game, and Philadelphia just took the lead. That is incredible. So I'm going to keep looking at that while we do this, but the first game of the day was the Celtics versus the Toronto Raptors. The Celtics ended up coming away with the victory, 106-104. Now, they did rest Jason Tatum in this game, which is a big reason why the game was closer than it was. Marcus Smart only played 15 minutes until he really fell down with quite a bad-looking ankle injury. I'm expecting him to be out for at least a couple weeks with that one. He had 2 points, 2 rebounds, and 4 assists in his 15 minutes today. Now, the real hero for the Celtics in this game was Jaylen Brown. He played 41 minutes when he ended up with 27, 8, and 6 with 3 steals. He played very well. But for me, the guy who I was completely shocked with how well he played today in this game, it was Peyton Pritchard. He is going to be a serious trade pickup. I reckon any team that needs a little bit more offense in that point guard spot, maybe the Lakers, could pick up Peyton Pritchard. He played very well. He was a plus 19 in this game, even though they only won by 2. He had 12 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, and a steal. He shot 57% from the field, which is that's a good effort. They kept putting him on Pascal Siakam as well, and he didn't want none of it. He kept putting pick and rolls to get Peyton Pritchard off of him. Peyton Pritchard was holding his own today. The Magic and the Wizards, I didn't watch this game. Two teams that aren't really that interesting to watch. Magic are cool, but the Wizards just aren't really like that. But speaking of the Wizards, we have Kyle Kuzma, who's been involved in trade talks to Minnesota. It looks like Minnesota's probably going to be very active this trade deadline. I'm a Bucks fan, as you can see. I think my team, the Bucks, definitely need to make a trade. I'm looking at a Malik Beasley for the Bucks. Now, Serge Ibaka hasn't been with the team for the last 3 weeks, and it's just came out today that yes, he probably won't play any more games for the Bucks, and they're going to try to move him in this trade deadline. I think his contract is about $6 million. Grayson Allen has been playing well as well. His contract's at $12 million. They can do a little bit here. The Bucks, they're able to move some pieces around. There was talk about maybe getting a Jordan Clarkson to come in, but I think that's probably a little bit too high end, or a Buddy Hield. These guys are a little bit too high end for the Bucks. That's about $20 million, a little bit too high. A Malik Beasley, you're talking about 10 mil, I think, or maybe a little bit lower actually. I might be mistaken, but a guy like that, a little bit of instant offense who can provide a bit of defense. The Jay Crowder talks were going on, but as a Bucks fan, I don't want Jay Crowder. Please do not give us Jay Crowder. No, do not go for that trade. If I'm the Bucks front office, I'm not trading for Jay Crowder, as he's not a very good locker room guys. We've just seen, and the Bucks really like locker room guys, and he plays the 4. We don't need a 4. We have Giannis, so it's not really going to work out like that. Now, the Charlotte Hornets and the Atlanta Hawks, I watched the last minute of this game where it was really close. Terry Rozier got fouled on a 3-pointer when the Hawks were up by 2 with only a second left, and then he just went up there and sunk 3 out of 3 free throws and won the game. So it was really just quite an underwhelming finish. I haven't even looked at the stat line of this. No LaMelo Ball again, as he went out with that injury. Mason Plumlee had 25 points, 11 rebounds, and 2 assists. That's pretty crazy, of a plus 10 for the game. Gordon Hayward made his return, which is cool to see. And yeah, Terry Rozier ended up with 34 points, which is a very solid Terry Rozier game. Now, I've only seen highlights from this game. This was incredible. Anthony Edwards explodes against the Houston Rockets. He ends up with 44, 6, and 4, and he dunked on Alfred Sengun twice. twice. He did it twice in one game, and they were ridiculous poster dunks. I've already put up an edit of that. I had to do it. Honestly, I uploaded it by accident, but we've really got it up there. Alfred Şengün ended up with 19 and 16 and 7. That's a crazy game for him, but his Rockets go down by 9 points in the end. The Phoenix Suns escape with a victory against the Indiana Pacers at home. It was a tight game the whole way along. TJ McConnell had a triple-double. He had 18, 10, and 12 assists. A great game for him. Miles Turner had 16 and 12. Buddy Hield had 22. So it was just an all-round scoring performance by the Pacers. They're still without Halliburton is still out. And yeah, the Phoenix Suns. Now, this is a really big talking point that I wanted to talk about. Can they make a playoff run? I mean, they can try and get something back for Jay Crowder at the deadline. As I said, it's not going to be from us, the Bucks. It won't be from the Bucks. Chris Paul and Devin Booker. DeAndre Ayton is out as well. All these guys, they need to get these boys back. Now, actually, I think DeAndre Ayton was rested. I don't think he's out. But I know Booker and Chris Paul are definitely out. And they just need to get these guys back. Like, the DMPs for today was Jay Crowder, obviously. We had Chris Paul, Cameron Payne, Devin Booker, DeAndre Ayton, Landry Shamet, and Cam Johnson. They need these guys. This is like their core right there that didn't play today. So, yeah, it's struggle streets. I was listening to the Inside the NBA crew talking about it, if they think that the Phoenix Suns can make a push. I think they can. I think it's going to be very difficult. I think they're second-round exits again at best, but yeah, that last year they were set up so well to go all the way, and they just didn't do it. I think everyone's just lost faith in this Suns team, so they have a chip on their shoulder if they look at it that way, but so far they haven't really looked that they're going to look at it that way. I think they're just so hurt about what happened last year in that playoff series against the Dallas Mavericks. Let's go back to this Kings-Philadelphia game. Philadelphia are up by 6 at the end of the third quarter. It's 102-96. This has been an incredible turnaround. Tyrese Maxey is looking like he's going to have a big game from what I'm seeing so far. He has 26 points at the third quarter ending. I just whacked my desk. Brilliant. But yeah, it's just the Kings had such a big lead, man. They're at home. I expect the Kings to put up a fight, but I think the Philadelphia's momentum might just carry them over the line here. Now to the game of the day for me. Not really the game of the day. It was the game that I was most excited for today because I thought that Giannis was going to be back, Chris Middleton was going to be back, but that wasn't the case. They were rested again. They did make the road trip, however, especially Chris Middleton made the road trip, so keep an eye out for him to be playing very soon. But they didn't play because Donovan Mitchell was injured, which is fair enough. The Bucks go down 102-114 in Cleveland against a Cleveland team who just couldn't miss. And Evan Mobley was ridiculous today. He had 38, 9, and 3. He was a plus 20. He could not miss. Darius Garland was a plus 19. He had 21, 3, and 10. A lot of the assists going to Evan Mobley. Brook Lopez could not stop Evan Mobley. Evan Mobley was just getting what he wanted inside, and it was borderline unfair. Brook Lopez wasn't fast enough to stay with Evan Mobley. It was ugly. Drew Holiday tried to keep the Bucks in it, but he couldn't keep up with the rate that he was going at in the last 2 games. You haven't seen much Drew Holiday. He had 37 and 35 in the last 2 games. He's been ridiculous trying to make this all-star run for himself, which I believe he is an all-star. He's definitely like the lowest all-star, but I believe he definitely needs to get in there. The Bucks deserve 2 all-stars. They're the 2nd seed in the East. What is the seeding actually right now? We're going to have a quick look at this, quick intermission. What is the seeding and the current standings in the NBA right now? In the East, we have the Boston Celtics at 35 and 12, not 2. Philadelphia at the 2nd seed now. A win today is definitely going to help that. Well, if they lose today, the Bucks will go back up. But if they win, which it looks like they are going to, it'll be 2nd seed for Philadelphia. Then we have Milwaukee, Brooklyn, Cleveland, and Miami rounded out, who are only above the Knicks by percentage points. And in the West, we have got the Denver Nuggets, who in my opinion are looking extremely scary. And I think in everybody's opinion, they've raised their defense and they are playing extremely well. We have the Memphis Grizzlies, the Sacramento Kings, the Pelicans, the Mavs, and then the Golden State Warriors jump up into that 6th spot. They're currently in the playoffs. I believe the Warriors are going to be fine. Like, they need to make a trade at the deadline for sure for a big man. Could they be getting Rudy Gobert? Hell no. Hell no, man. I don't... That Jazz trade with Rudy Gobert is actually incredible to look back at. That youngster, what's his name? Kessler Edwards? No, that's on the Nets. What is his name? I don't know. But the rookie that they got from the Timberwolves is averaging more blocks per game than Rudy Gobert, which is just stupid. That is stupid. It's such a stupid trade on the look back for them. That is not good. But all that time that Steph Curry was out for the Warriors only helped them. Like, sure, they lost a lot of games. They're 23-23 right now, which is not where you'd think or hope they would be at. But trust me, the Warriors are going to be well fine. Klay Thompson looks like the old Klay Thompson again. Jordan Poole got a heap of run in his legs. Like, these guys just... it's only going to help them long term. This was the first podcast from me. Let me know what you think about this podcast and this kind of style of content that I want to make, because I want to make some content that is purely just me making it instead of using like NBA clips and doing all this stuff. This has been Sam Booth on the Basketball Reach podcast. Tune in next time.